This is Wake Up Wisconsin Weekend. Here's what's happening right now.
I've long talked about the battle for the soul of America. We must restore the soul of America.
But while I may be the first woman in this office, I will not be the last.
Joe Biden is now the president-elect, and Kamala Harris is the vice president-elect, the unifying message the victors had last night after the projected win. And cities erupted in celebration after Biden and Harris won. We'll show you how people took to the streets. And new this morning, how local police are dealing with storing evidence that's been contaminated by the coronavirus on this Sunday, November 8th. Good Sunday morning to you. So take a live look over the Capitol. We are in for just such a gorgeous day. Hopefully you have some wonderful Sunday plans. I'm Sarah Massler-Donar.
And I'm Jessica Porter.
And I'm Catherine Noel. And yes, the warm streak continues for all around a gorgeous Sunday.
All right, Catherine, thank you. Well, this morning, the voters have spoken. Joe Biden has received a new title, president-elect, and his supporters celebrated all day.
Crowds across the country cheered, honked horns, and danced. The celebrations here at home on the left, the Capitol building in Madison, downtown, people carrying signs, and even around the world on the right, you can see some of Biden's distant Irish relatives celebrating in Ireland by popping champagne in front of a mural of Biden.
And last night, Biden took the stage in Wilmington, Delaware for his victory speech, speaking to a deeply divided nation and making a plea for unity.
This as President Donald Trump refuses to concede the election. Camilla Bernal is in Wilmington with more.
Camila, thank you. Well, Biden was projected the winner last night after enough states were called to push him over 270 electoral votes. But 3 states are still up in the air this morning. Alaska and North Carolina, where President Trump is in the lead, and Georgia, where Biden is in the lead. As election officials continue counting votes, there have been no reports of widespread issues or fraud.
The time it's taking to count ballots has been the headline for days this week. Wisconsin was called just after Election Day, but Madison had vote numbers in soon after polls closed. The Madison city clerk says they were able to get everything counted so much faster than Milwaukee, in part because of a smaller quantity of ballots, but also because the work was spread out over many polling places instead of a central voting location.
That's why we count absentees at the polling location rather than using the central count method. Our main goal with that is transparency. It just happens to also be efficient.
She said their record number of poll workers was instrumental in getting through the record number of absentee ballots. Well, Joe Biden's victory in Wisconsin was a close one. He beat President Trump by just 20,000 votes.
But Republicans are not giving up hope yet. Capitol Bureau Chief Emily Fannin talks to both sides of the aisle about the unofficial results and why some Republicans are supporting calls for a recount.
Little City Sunday.
All right, Emily, thank you. We'll see you soon. Well, Wisconsin set a new daily record yesterday with more than 7,000 new COVID-19 cases, almost 1,000 more than the previous record set the day before. Now, right now, nearly 60,000 people have the virus in Wisconsin, and more than 1,800 are in the hospital. 45 more people have died, bringing the state total to more than 2,300.
The U.S. Surgeon General got to see one of the UW system's new COVID-19 surge testing sites last week. This one is on the campus of UW Oshkosh. Testing will start here tomorrow. Sites like this will use rapid tests that give results in just about 15 minutes.
The more asymptomatic individuals that we identify, and the sooner we identify them, the more we can keep families and communities safe and open.
There will also be a rapid test site at UW-Madison, but it still has not been determined when it will open.
Well, this morning we now know Weston High School in Cazonia is now going all virtual this week because of new COVID cases. 4 through 8th grade rather, for K through 8th grade, excuse me, will continue in-person learning. District officials say the Sauk County Health Department notified them about 5 new cases among students and staff.
And not far away, the Richland School District is suspending face-to-face learning for 2 months to reduce the spread of COVID-19. This will continue through January 8th. In-person learning will then resume January 11th. District officials say they're exploring ways to safely bring small groups of students into the buildings for educational support.
The number of coronavirus cases within the Wisconsin prison system has reached a new record. The total broke 5,000 last week. The active case count is above 2,000. 5 prisons have outbreaks of more than 100 cases going on right now.
This morning, police are facing a new dilemma because of the pandemic, storing crime scene evidence contaminated with coronavirus. In Green Bay, there was never concern about adding new pieces of evidence until a homicide victim tested positive. Officers had to then figure out what to do with evidence they needed to keep, even though it was likely contaminated.
Everything is just changing with this daily, and what how long this stuff can last, what the processes are, best practices. I reached out across the country saying, hey, what are you doing with stuff like this?
So here's what they're doing. Officers are now leaving evidence drying in open air in a facility outside the department, where it's far away from people but safe and secure.
Right now, Eta has re-strengthened into a tropical storm, and warnings are now affecting the U.S. The storm will begin to impact the South Florida region today, bringing heavy rain and tropical storm force winds. It originally made landfall as a Category 4 hurricane in Nicaragua on Tuesday and is to blame for more than 100 deaths in Central America.
Researchers claim this morning that the models used to predict climate change may be inaccurate. International team of scientists found that past climate information wasn't included in current studies. The team says that information should be used to ensure accurate predictions. As one researcher pointed out, they believe a model that can accurately simulate past climates will be more likely to do a better job of getting future scenarios right.
Well, coming up, we'll tell you about a new program in the Chippewa Valley that's helping new moms get ready for motherhood.
And we have an interview with a clinical nutritionist who has some ways we can avoid getting too stuffed at our Thanksgiving dinners. It's 6:11. You're watching Wake Up Wisconsin Weekend. Your local weather is up next.
My bucket list is simple.